A 50% hike in petrol prices in Iran has led to violent protests breaking out across the country. There was trouble in at least a dozen cities, with buildings vandalised and pictures of Iran's supreme leader burned. Riot police responded. Tear gas, water cannon was used. Now, the authorities say one person's died during the unrest, but that's disputed on social media, where it's claimed there may have been more fatalities. The surprise fuel price rise announcement came on Friday, with the government saying the revenues will fund support for the poor. The move is backed by Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, who described the rioting as sabotage and called the protesters hooligans. Let's go live now to Tehran and political analyst Syed Mustafa Koscheshem. Always good to have you in the programme. How unsettled is the situation where you are now?
Hello, and thanks for having me. Tehran is calm now, of course, and security has been established everywhere. Ever since the revolution, Iranians have been demanding freedom of expression. That's why they revolted. And there have been protests or demands by the people in demonstrations who have been expressing their legitimate concerns and demands. And nobody has been bothering them ever since this right was revived through the revolution. And this is nothing strange. But the strange or the outstanding point here is that as soon as Iranians come out to demand and to call for their legitimate grievances, economic grievances, we can see very outstanding efforts and very clear and obvious efforts by the United States, by the MKO, the son of the former Pahlavi regime, and others, and very recently by the Saudis even, who try to hijack these peaceful rallies or peaceful gatherings, and they try to escalate the situation. They encourage the people to set arson attacks, to go damage public and private buildings, to intimidate and bully businesses, to close down, and they try to, escalate the situation and steer insecurity. That's the problem. We saw it 2 years ago. We saw it in the last 2 nights. Hopefully, the Iranian police have identified them, and the intelligence ministry says that they have already made some arrests in order to make sure that these economic grievances would be expressed.
Let me just get on to the economic grievances, because it's an interesting part, Syed, because Iran, of course, we know, is having to take tough economic decisions as it struggles with crippling US-led sanctions. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo reportedly claims they're not targeted at Iranian civilians, rather they are industrial and financial. How has that filtered down, though, in affecting Iranians' incomes, the prices of goods, etc.?
Well, that the Iranians are now they have not only achieved self-sufficiency in producing petrol, but they are a supplier and exporter of petrol. So this is not the U.S. Sanctions that has done harm to this situation. Iran doesn't need imports of petrol. That's been the case for the past few years, actually, especially since last year. But here the point is that the U.S. is the prime party who gets happy whenever something happens like this in Iran, because they can brag about the impacts of the sanctions, claiming that they have caused unrest. But this is not the case. As a matter of fact, this has been done by ourselves. The governments, all governments across the world, when they intend to stage or exercise a decision, they need to do a number of things. First is expertise and expert studies. They've already done that. They have the legitimacy to exercise their decision. But what they missed this time was developing public support. Normally, when rationing or price hike with regard to petrol prices happens in Iran, the presidents and their cabinets and experts step forward to talk about the plan 2 months or 1 month beforehand. But this time, they missed this, step, which is very vital. They didn't talk about it, and they staged the plan without developing public support. So the public, many of those who are holding economic grievances, they don't know that they are the recipients of the dividends and merits of this plan, because they are to be paid some money, some more subsidies because of this plan. Because they have not been informed, that's why they are upset, or they have concerns about the price hike. This is the government that should have informed them and paid the subsidies even earlier before staging the plan. That's the problem here, and I believe that the government has come to realize that it needs to work to develop public support through the media before staging and exercising such decisions.
Syed, thanks for your time. Live from Tehran, political analyst Syed Mustafa Kushcheshm.